So thank you for joining our event today. We are going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about stress. So let me start by introducing myself. I am Namita Das. I'm the founder of Stress Guru. And Stress Guru is a mental health startup in India. We provide a personalized emotional wellness plan with online counseling services. You can follow us on Instagram, or you can learn more about us at getstressguru.in. Feel free to email me at namita@getstressguru.in. And if you follow us on Instagram, we post daily activities that will boost and strengthen your mental health. But for today, we are going to talk to Swati, who is our in-house counselor. And I'll let Swati introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Namita. I'm Swati Saxena. I am a clinical psychologist registered in Rehabilitation Council of India. I have a lot of experience with people who go through a lot of depression, anxiety, interpersonal conflicts, and so on. Currently, I am working as a lecturer in a university. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to talk about stress and understanding our stress triggers. And I have some questions for you. There's some questions that have been submitted by our participants right now when they signed up. And for those who have joined, if you have more questions, feel free to put it in the chat window as well. So to manage our stress better, we first need to understand it. So what is stress?
Okay, so stress is something which we use this term in our day-to-day life, right? But it's important to understand what it exactly is. It's a sense or experience of feeling overburdened. You usually have these thoughts that I'm feeling overburdened, I cannot things killing me, and so on. So stress can be in general considered as something which is non-adaptive to an individual. Situations, feelings, or emotions which are challenging or threatening to oneself is usually considered as stress.
Okay.
So let's understand it with an example. Consider a balloon. Even after being so flexible, if you create too much pressure inside it, beyond its limit, okay, it will burst after an optimal level, right? And the damage done cannot be repaired. Similarly, happens with us also. Being a human being, we have certain boundaries, certain limitations. We have our own tolerance limit. If we create too much pressure inside it, then definitely be some damage, be it physical or psychological.
But I feel like I'm always in a high stress environment. You know, I'm working. I think I am on top of my stress. I don't think that bothers me.
Okay, so some people think they have a genuine tendency to assume that they work well under pressure, right? So with this example, which I just now shared with you all, I am trying to tell you that if you think you are working well under pressure, it is just your assumption. It is not true. If you think you are working good under pressure, you are still inside your boundaries. You are still inside your work limits. It's not that you have crossed the boundaries. The moment you cross your boundaries, you will feel some form of psychological disturbance, be it cognitive, be it emotional turmoil, and so on.
So one thing that I remember when we were talking about this, you said that there are some stress triggers that if we can learn more about it, we can then start identifying them.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about what are these stress triggers?
Sure. Basically, there are three major categories I would like to divide it in. The first is cognitive triggers, right? We indulge in too much overthinking. Either we are indulging thinking about the past, or we are indulged about in thinking about the present or future. Present is the important part, right? So if I think that अभी बहुत ज़्यादा uncertainty हो रही है, ठीक है, अभी बहुत ज़्यादा dilemma है, तो dilemma is not because of present moment. It is that what is going to happen, what has happened, what we have gone through. Okay, so it is either about anxiety, and stress is always about either the past or the future. We are not living in present is the major concern in today's world. So there are certain cognitive triggers, like I said, recalling your past experiences, overthinking, and there are cognitive signs as a consequence also. So
Okay.
the cognitive consequences are poor attention, poor concentration, then not able to take decisions very frequently. You have a problem of assertiveness, okay? And then there are certain emotional triggers, right? You have emotional turmoil, you have poor interpersonal relationship, or you are getting too much emotionally involved in a workplace, or you are not that much emotionally stable, feeling not emotionally stable, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the certain emotional factors. And then comes the situational triggers, okay? A person, place, or an individual is making you feel stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I would suggest is that usually people think it is very difficult to change the situation. I would like to again quote an example that if I ask you to detoxify your body, right, it is difficult. But if I ask you to clean the mess around your room, it is much easier, right?
Yes, it's
Similarly,
something I know what to go pick and how to clean, and
exactly,
it's
exactly.
something I
So
know how to do.
yes, and if you think that I ask you to detoxify your body, you will probably take a lot of lime, lemon juice, and all the detoxification elements, and it will take a really long time. So that it is not situations are not in our hand, and we cannot actually change it. But yes, I would say that situation changing reaction towards the situation is much easier, and similarly, you can reduce your stress to that also. Now coming to the biological triggers, if you have active dependency or any form of substance, then there will be certain form of biological triggers also. You'll have cravings, you will have mood swings, headaches, then sense of nausea, slight chest pain, uh, headache, all these factors. But keeping in mind with biological triggers, it is important that all these symptoms, biological triggers, के जो भी causes and signs हैं, that could be because of serious medical illness also. So don't
Okay.
always consider it as a stress only.
Okay. And you speak about, okay, these three different cognitive, situational, and emotional,
Hmm.
um, or biologicals. How do I know what I have? I don't think I'm going to have all of this, right? So if I'm stressed, how do I go about identifying that I'm actually stressed? I think at a theory level, I understand that these are three different triggers, but I'm not able to figure out, oh, I'm stressed and maybe I should think about reducing my stress. So what is your guidance around how to identify my own stress triggers?
There are basically, like every other phenomena, there are individual differences in experiencing stress, but I'll just give you a tip for a general process by how you can actually identify it. If you all are listening to me, then you can note it down also. It's really helpful, and I also use the same. Just it's an exercise actually. Just recall any past event, frequent past events in wherein you felt stressed. ठीक है, recall a past event जहाँ पे आपको लगा you felt a lot of stress
Mm-hmm.
and you were not able to cope up, or I cannot take it anymore, अब मुझसे नहीं होगा. You are having these thoughts, right? Note it down. Where those incidences where you pushed your edges, your boundaries beyond your own tolerance limit. Note it down. Note that event, okay, somewhere, and write event and write the entire situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, analyze the common factors. You have written one situation. Now, analyze what are the common factors where you feel a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Be it interpersonal, it could be interpersonal relationship, it could be a workplace, it could be a social life, social environment, it could be multiple responsibility, holding on to multiple responsibilities. So, it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
You need to find what is your individual triggers or factors, then you need to analyze the common factor by writing down the situation. Now, once you have the common factors, if you feel stressed, anxious, or overburdened,
Mm-hmm.
take a drone or helicopter view. Okay, try to analyze it from upside. That what is situation actually about? Just come out from that situation and analyze as if it is someone else's situation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now you think that, okay, could this situation be changed somehow? So how can you analyze it? Would you like to change it by yourself? जो भी उस situation में हुआ, you want to change it, or you want to blame someone else for that, or everybody in that situation was equally responsible. Okay, so you try to analyze that what were the pros and cons of that situation, which could and could not have been changed. Now,
Mm-hmm.
once you know what are the factors, common factors, you know how you react to those common factors, it will be really, really easy for you to change the emotional reaction, the behavioral reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
राइट, हमें पहले ये जानना जरूरी है कि हमारे स्ट्रेस ट्रिगर्स हैं क्या. once we
Yeah.
know it, it is important for you to know that how are you reacting to it. You are blaming yourself, others, or equally responsible. Everyone is equally responsible. So this is how you can help to identify your triggers.
And I know you've spoken to me a lot about how when you are seeing your clients and customers, that it is a very hard process to do, to be able to reflect and take a step back and identifying your own triggers. As you said, you like to take a helicopter view. I think it definitely helps talking to someone else, talking to a counselor like you in identifying those triggers. But I do like your idea on reflecting or actually noting down every time I felt stressed and trying to see common elements. Now I have some questions that some of the participants have given that I'm going to ask. And it's just a call out to everyone else. You are listening. If you have more questions as you are listening to Swati, please ask them in the chat window and we can ask those questions again. So one question that I received was, and I think that's something that's happened to me also, that when it comes to certain relationships that I have or some certain person, whether it's a person I'm dating or my husband or it's my manager, it's very hard. Like I feel like it's very hard to work with them. And then I get very stressed. So I don't know how to deal with that.
Okay, this is not something, actually the thing here is that there are few coping styles, right? Coping mechanism, right? So once you go through this process and you know that be it your interpersonal relationship, be it your work-life balance, personal life balance, be it anything else, you need to focus on two things. Okay, there are basically two reactions, coping skills, which you can use. Either way you can react depending on the which way is suitable to you.
Mm-hmm.
So first is a problem focused coping, right? Wherein usually people try to eliminate the source of, the cause of stress. Okay, so if I am feeling stressed in a relationship, I need to identify the root cause of it. Why am I feeling it? Identify it. Okay, once you identify, you try to deal with it, okay, in a better way, communicate it, or then, and the second way, then comes the second way, is emotion focused coping, wherein you change your own reaction to the situation. There are two ways: either you eliminate the source of stress, or second, you change your emotional reaction. Emotional reaction can be changed by communication, talk to a counselor or talk to any good friend of yours. But I would suggest that talk to someone who can guide you properly and is not biased.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is a way you can
I
deal
think
with
what
it.
I struggle with sometimes is, and the person also who sent me the question also mentioned, is that the other person is not in your control, right? Like you cannot change the other person. Um, and I think what I'm hearing you say is to identify the cause of the conflict, but also then understand our own emotional response. So even though we cannot control the other person, we can change how we are thinking and reacting to it.
Yes.
So this other question that I also received is, which is on top of everyone's mind right now, is with coronavirus and we are all working from home, there's a lot of uncertainty around how am I performing at work now that I'm working from home, uncertainty around, you are with your spouse who you used to see maybe just in the evening and mornings, but now the whole day is being spent. Because in general, there are a lot of uncertainties. You know, a lot of people have lost their jobs. They don't know when they can go back. So it's very stressful situation. Can you guide us in this?
Yeah, the best part about this uncertainty is that it is catastrophic. It's throughout the world, and every individual around you is going through it. So first of all, you need to relax that this is not happening only.
Swati, I think connection. Maybe you can repeat that.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I was saying that the best part about this uncertainty is that this is catastrophic. It is going throughout the world. Even far away from you is dealing with it. So it's not, this stress is commonly with everyone. The best part of dealing with right now is just focus on things which are certain, which you can be sure about. Okay, so take an instance that you can probably regulate your routine. Okay, usually it happens with everyone that we have delayed our, when do we sleep, when do we wake up, we have delayed all of it. We ourselves are not actually regulating our cycles, and then we become more and more uncertain. So uncertainty is also a form of anxiety ki aage kya hoga, pehle kya hoga, abhi kya ho raha hai, right? So focus on the things which are certain. Okay, you are giving everything to your body, right? You are eating food, you are maintaining your physical health, but what about your mental?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So it also needs food. Okay, so there are a lot of techniques, deep breathing exercises, meditation, mindfulness, a lot of things. And I think you should focus on that side, because uncertainty, by it means that things are uncertain and you cannot do anything about it. Again, I would say change your emotional reaction towards it. And I think focus on the certain part.
So one other question that we did receive was that I know what my stress triggers are. I know what makes me stressed out, but I still don't know what to do.
Okay, I think if it is an individual question, it needs more and more of one-on-one interaction. If you know, I have told you that there is nothing that cannot be changed, or you cannot overcome it. It is necessary for you to understand and know that every situation you can overcome it. It is not that it is permanent or it is going to be forever, right? It is changeable. Every situation, even this uncertainty going now, is going to change, right, in future. So I would say that if you are aware that I have focused on things, your coping skills, you need to strengthen your coping skills and set a priority list. Don't switch your priorities according to the stressor. Okay, if this is your priority, then let it be your priority. If your own peace, mental health is your priority, then put it on the top list and do whatever it takes to do it, maintain it.
So from the audience, we just have received one more question, and I'll just read it out. So what are some of the ways to regulate oneself such that the self-expectations don't add to our stress? So,
Pardon, can you repeat it?
so what I understand from this question is that there are a lot of self-expectations you have out of yourself. And some of maybe some expectations are from others as well on you. What are some ways you can regulate yourself around these self-expectations so that you don't get stressed out?
Well, I think the goals which you let's just keep the expectation of others aside for a minute and think about your own expectations from yourself, right? What others expect is the secondary thing. According to me, it should be the second priority in your priority list. It is important for you to know that if you are expecting something from yourself, just make smart goals. Okay? Just make realistic goals,
I
which
think
are the goals which are there is a term called SMART goals, right? So the goals which you are achieving for self, जैसे आप बोल रहे हो self expectation है, right? So self expectation, set the realistic goals, okay, which are specific, not too many. In a particular time you set specific goals, okay, then you try to maintain a consistency in achieving them, okay, and the goals should be realistic, really ये बहुत ज़्यादा important है, okay, and there should be a time limitation. If you keep on achieving these goals, if your goals like the capabilities which you have and the goals which you have set, and you are sure that you can develop the potential to achieve these goals, definitely go for it. But I would say that if you talk about expectations from others, there are way too many expectations, okay, just fulfill who you actually think it's good for.
And I remember in our conversations, you also mentioned about expectation was that sometimes we think we have self-expectations, but internally they are coming from someone else, that we think they are coming from someone else.
Yes, we usually adapt to the expectation of others who are very important to us, right? So if my spouse, if my parents are too much close to me and I'm too much emotionally attached, I may actually adapt those expectations and may not be aware of what actually I want. So I would say that to be aware of yourself, who you are, what you actually want, there is one simple method. Whatever you are going through, whatever expectations you are trying to fulfill and achieve certain goals, is it making you happy? It's the simple answer.
What makes
Yes
you happy? It's a very
no.
good question.
Yes or no. Now I want to say that even if you don't want to go through examination, that is not fair. Go through examination if it, even if it is making you feel bad. Here I'm telling you is that unrealistic expectations की बात जो हो रही है. Okay, so that could be done. So there are always individual differences.
So I have one more question from the audience right now, and it says that at the time that when I feel overwhelmed, what can I do to reduce my stress?
There are a lot of techniques to relax yourself at the moment. See, and again and again, identifying triggers, working with your stress triggers isn't going to remove stress. All you need to do is how to cope up with it. It's a normal phenomena which we all deal with, right? So it will not go away, it will not vanish. You need to learn how to deal with it. So there are a lot of techniques, depends on what suits you the best. There are meditation techniques, okay, there are deep breathing exercises. So you practice it for, like, you can start from say 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you gradually decrease the practicing time. There will be a point where you will feel relaxed even after 2 minutes of mindfulness meditation or deep breathing exercise. So this way you can do it. And again, whatever coping skills you are using, is it helpful? Analyze the situation and then.
Yes, and I from our conversations that stress is something that even we cannot master it in one day.
Yeah, sure.
It's not that you can tell me all the techniques and then in 1 month or in 2 months that we've mastered it. It takes time. And I know that when you work with a lot of your clients and customers, you see the improvements over time, but it takes some time.
Sure. Depending on the intensity, frequency of stress, the results vary. So I know that people stress is a lot of facts, and the one thing important.
Lost what you.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you repeat?
Okay. Yes, I think it stress. There are individual differences, and what I need you to understand, it comes with a lot of practice. And that you will master it or something. There may be one mild stressful condition, and then all of a sudden a drastic stressful situation. You need to understand it's the emotions in the situation of stress are like waves. It will go at a high and then go down. Right, so this moment will come and go, and you need to remind yourself every time that this situation is not permanent. It will come and go like a sea wave.
Okay. Well, I just want to say we don't have any more questions, but I'll give another minute to anyone else who wants to ask a question. If not, I would say that we are here. We are Stress Guru. We provide online counseling services, and also with those counseling services, we provide a very personalized wellness care program that we can track. If you have any feedback, I'll be reaching out to you to ask for some feedback, but you can always email me at namita@getstressguru.in, and follow us on Instagram, where we share daily activities that will help you boost and strengthen your mental health. So this is us. I just want to make sure we don't have any more questions. I don't think we do. Any, Swati, any last words you want to leave people with who joined us today to understand their stress triggers?
I just want to say that practice switching unhealthy coping skills and
I think what you switch from unhealthy coping skills to more healthier coping skills. And in the beginning, you said just the way we think about our fitness, physical fitness, we should also work on our mental fitness. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Swati.